Look, man, we about to make an anthem out of this. I need y'all to follow me on social media on X, www.x.com, at TJAYJones8. Now, if you had enough, this is what I need you to do. I need you to put your hands in the air and sing this with me. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? For the last 2 seasons we done paid the price. Make it while you put Derek Carr in our lives. Everybody know he ain't winning jack. And read the fans, if you love him, you can have him back. 'Cause understand why the Saints spinning over for this man, acting like he ain't high demand. And I done seen enough, I swear I'm over this guy. Instead of training with his team, he out a pimp and ride. Yeah, it took me a little while, but I'm starting to see that number 4 for the Saints is mentally weak. Yeah, I think that it's time that they send that boy home, so once again we can rock in a Superdome. Rockin' a Superdome. 'Cause we know Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Happy Good Friday to you. It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. I really do appreciate your time. Let me adjust this camera. Go over a little bit. All right, here we go. All right, appreciate you all. Spending a little bit of your off day. Most of you are probably off. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with yours truly. Also, want to give a special shout out to everybody that checked out the Bleacher Report mock draft episode that took place. There was a mock draft special on the Bleacher Report, and yours truly got an opportunity to represent the New Orleans Saints and saying who I feel like the Saints should pick with pick number 9. Now, of course, we were actually pretending to be GMs and selecting. So, had to kind of pivot a little bit because of something that happened. But nonetheless, if you want to check out who I selected for the New Orleans Saints with the number 9 pick, go to and check out Bleacher Report. Or you can download the Bleacher Report app and check out the mock draft episode from Thursday. So make sure you check that out. Looking forward to next week, the NFL draft. We're less than a week away from the NFL draft. Number 9 is finally going to reveal itself when it comes to New Orleans Saints. Will they pick at number 9? Will they try to move up? Will they try to move back? I mean, we're all interested, and all of the eyes of the NFL, for the most part, will be on that number 9th pick for the New Orleans Saints. But on this edition, is a little bit of a somber one, but I think it was something that we all expected. We're going to be talking a little bit about Ryan Ramczyk. Ryan Ramczyk has officially retired from the NFL after 8 seasons in the NFL. We know that Ryan Ramczyk missed the entire season last year dealing with that knee injury. The last time we seen Ryan Ramczyk, he was much thinner, looked like he was working out. So I think pretty much the writing was on the wall then. Everything was just pretty much well in hand. And we just needed something official in order for us to be able to verify and validate what we already knew, which is the big man decides to retire. Now, he's dealt with some knee injuries that caused the early retirement, but Ryan Ramczyk, in my opinion, was a staple in the New Orleans Saints organization. He didn't last very long, like you'll see some of those longtime guys that have been around, and ones that we admire, even with DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan, but he left an impact. And I often said, like, since I've been doing the show since 2018, Ryan Ramczyk was my favorite New Orleans Saint outside of Drew Brees. The offensive line position is one of those positions that we don't really pay that much attention to unless the guy is just playing god awful. But every time we talked about Ryan Ramczyk, it was always something that he was doing really, really well. He came to the New Orleans Saints in 2017 and provided immediate impact, played so well to replace a legend in Zach Strief. He came in and, I mean, he gave the Saints instant impact, and he was all pro. You always can count on him to shore up his side of the offensive line. And, he was somebody that was valued, and he wasn't a very boisterous guy. Some people never really heard Ryan Ramczyk say anything, but he spoke with his play. And, that's something that I truly respect. If the big man is watching it, just so happen to be strolling around YouTube and come across this, want to say to you, Ryan, appreciate what you did with the New Orleans Saints organization. You always have a fan in yours truly, and definitely going to give me a number 71 jersey to hang up on the wall. I don't normally get jerseys because, sometimes, I just feel like, players come and go. There's only a few jerseys that I'm probably going to end up getting. He's one of them. And thank you, Ryan. Thank you for your contributions to the New Orleans Saints, the good moments. And thank you for showing the NFL world what the right tackle position needs to be played with energy, efficiency, technique, and, a brute force. All right. So that's definitely what he was. So shouts out to Ryan Ramczyk. Congratulations on an incredible career. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about some other topics. Feel free to put your comments inside of the chat. If you want to talk a little bit about Ryan Ramczyk, what is your favorite Ryan Ramczyk moment? What's something that stood out to you about the big man? Like I said, he wasn't a very boisterous guy, played the right tackle at the highest level, one of the best right tackles in all of football. Man, feel free to put your comments and what you feel about the big man in the chat, man. I'm pretty sure he'll probably come across it or something like that, and maybe he'll see some of the kind things that everybody has to say about him. I can remember having Zach Strief on the show a couple of years ago, and I was talking to him about Ryan Ramczyk. I wish I would have got that soundbite so we can actually play that. But I can just remember him talking about how he was pretty much an easy study, and he basically knew that he was going to be something special, and I'm pretty sure that's a tough pill to swallow. You being a right tackle, being that cornerstone player Zach Strief was, and then all of a sudden here comes Ryan Ramczyk. But shouts out to Zach Strief also, man. Willing to understand, that football is played for a short period of time, and this young guy is going to come in and he's going to provide something. And there can always be that level of envy, or not wanting to help him, but he embraced them, and he helped them in his rookie season to be able to be effective. So shouts out to Zach Strief, and and once again, shouts out to Ryan Ramczyk. Let me read some of your comments. Keen Arthur said, TJ, we doing a draft stream again. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna end up doing a stream. We were originally supposed to do it last week, but of course, unfortunately, my aunt passed away, and I end up having to go to Mississippi. And man, my mind honestly was not on a mock draft. Like, if I was to do a mock draft over the last few days, which I could have, but I don't think I would have genuinely been able to analyze certain players and why I selected those players. And my mind wasn't on that. Man, anybody I've talked to, man, my aunt meant a lot to me, and like that really hurt. It still hurts now. So like I said, when I plan on taking this weekend to be able to like look and be able to go over a few things, and be able to do the mock draft episode. It will be next week. We got to do it before the draft. We got to do it before the draft, so it will be next week. But Keen Arthur, I want to make sure everything that I do here, I want to do with passion, and I want to make sure that I'm giving people the best, analysis that I can. And if I feel like I'm going to do it, then I don't even want to, you know how I do it, man. So we'll get to it. We'll definitely get it done next week, though. We'll definitely get it done next week. Let's see. God is good, Art, and you know it. Yeah. Favorite Ryan moment was him shutting down JJ Watt. Yeah, that was pretty impressive, man. 2 Wisconsin badges going at it, right? I mean, badge on badge action right there. But yeah, that was pretty impressive, man. JJ Watt was a force during that time, and I hate to say it, but Zach, I'm pretty sure he knows this. Yeah, I think we all remember that game where JJ Watt was just wreaking havoc and just pushing over Zach Strief, and he was mic'd up in that game, and he would kept on saying, he was like, I don't want to hit Drew. I like Drew. I think we all remember that, but we didn't get that same type of energy when Ram was on him, right? So so yeah, that definitely was something that was impressive. I mean, not too many offensive linemen are able to shut down or neutralize JJ Watt. 1 second. All right. Sorry about that, folks. That was my wife. Had to answer that. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty impressive. Says, I guess Charlie doesn't like me for some reason. I don't know who is Charlie. Don't blame it to Charlie. Mr. Charlie just a man. Oh, yes, he understands. Ryan White bundled like a newborn baby. I feel like it wasn't his time yet. If it wasn't for injuries, he'll still be playing forever, a Saints legend. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, man, the injury guys can be cruel, but at least he's able to retire, and be able to, be a father and a husband, be able to, have life outside of football. I mean, he's only 30 years old, so he has his whole life ahead of him. Made a nice little chunk of change where he's going to be able to take care of his family and be able to do the things that he loves to do. I mean, that's basically what every NFL player wants to do. Want to be able to go out here, take advantage of, the opportunity, make some money in the process, and set themselves up to be able to have a life outside of football. And so, I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened the way that it did. You always want to finish on your own terms. You don't want the injury to determine that. But I'm pretty sure if you was to ask Ryan Ramczyk, he'll tell you he's one of the luckiest men in the world. I mean, I encourage everybody to check out his Instagram post. Him basically expressing his gratitude to the Saints organization, and also talking about his road. I mean, this wasn't a guy that was a 5-star recruit coming out of college or anything. I mean, out of high school, excuse me. This guy had to have a lunch pail mentality. He had to work for everything he got, and he went from going to a technical college to being an all-pro, and so I mean, he is the definition of what hard work and dedication could be. If you apply yourself and continue to grind and continue to put your hand to the plow. So I mean, I can respect a person like Ryan Ramczyk. Nothing was given to him, and sometimes when things aren't given to you, you have a tendency to kind of rising to the occasion and being able to take things for yourself. So I mean, I think he'll tell you, man, he's a lucky human being. Could you imagine Fuaga and Ram on that line? Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, Fuaga looks like he's as advertised. He's only going to get better. I mean, yeah, he had some growing pains, but most rookies do. But if you look at the way that he played the left tackle position, you have to be optimistic about the future and know that you actually have a cornerstone player. We've been looking for a player like Fuaga since Teron Armstead went to Miami. And I never really talked about Teron. I know he retired as well. Congratulations to him on a great career. Definitely needs to be in the Saints Ring of Honor, him and Ram. But yeah, I think Fuaga is going to be a really good left tackle. Now, hopefully those back issues that he dealt with his rookie season, and hopefully those are just little minor things that just kind of happen during his rookie season and doesn't really affect him anymore. But if he can be everything that we expect for him to be, I think that you're gonna have an all-pro. I mean, you can have what Detroit has in Nephi's Penei Sewell. Nephi plays for the Saints, right? Is his brother, right? Penei Sewell. You can have that. So, strolling down. Says, take your time, TJ. We here, big brother. Do you need anything, or is there anything we can do for you and the family? Nah, man. Nah. Man, it just, I don't want to get all, personal and stuff like that, man. But, growing up, I had a lot of my family members that were around me. Both my grandparents, I'm fortunate enough to actually have them in the land of the living. My grandfather and my grandmother, and growing up, they always just been a part of my life. But that's the thing, as you get older, the people that you love and value become older. You know what I'm saying? But you have to appreciate the moments that you have with those individuals. And like I said, I appreciate the moments that I had with my aunt, but it's just hard when you been around somebody and you love them, you have all these amazing moments with them, and they end up passing away. So I mean, but yeah, I mean it hurts, but most of the moments that I had with my aunt were happy moments. But like I said, that was my mind was just focused on that. And like I said, man, I kind of, if I was just being on this podcast, man, I don't feel like it would have been genuine work. It would have felt like work. And y'all know I don't like to make this podcast work. If I feel like it's starting to feel like work, I kind of step away from it because I always want to give you all my best. And I don't want to, anything watered down. And I tell y'all, like, I don't care what's going on. I don't care what's happening. Like, if I don't feel like I'm going to give you that energy or give the situation the attention that it needs, I'm not going to be on here. So, yeah, but I appreciate that, Cartel, man. What y'all doing right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, supporting the channel and, rocking with the channel. That's all the support that I need, man. I appreciate that. I apologize for putting in the chat. I just deleted it. what you put in the chat? What did you put in the chat? It says Ryan will be announcing draft picks for the Saints. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, shouts out to Nick Underhill for I believe that's the first person I've seen tweet that. Yeah, man, that's pretty cool right there, man. WrestleMania this week, NFL draft next week. Though, yeah, I'm excited about it, man. I'm actually having at my house, the Jones compound, just me, wife, and Packy, man. We'll be having a WrestleMania party here, man. Paxton is starting to really get into wrestling, which is pretty cool, man. His favorite wrestlers, I should say, is are Roman Reigns and Gunther. He likes Gunther, man. And he likes Jimmy Uso more than Jey Uso. But it's pretty cool, man. Like he walks around the house, even though he says Jimmy is his favorite Uso, he still wants to play Jey Uso song every morning so we can do this. Light it all up, knock it down. So it's pretty cool, man. And then I'm gonna try to take my little man to WrestleMania next year. I know it's gonna be in New Orleans, so I'm gonna have to save up and hopefully it don't cost an arm, a leg, two backs, and a neck to get there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Dalton. Long story short. For those that just tuned in, we talked about Ryan Ramczyk, but if you're new to the channel, how we work here is you put your comments in the chat and we just read accordingly. Like, I know sometimes people are like, man, this show way out left field, but we always have main topics, right? But we basically create the show as it goes along. So if you are new to the channel, first off, thank you for being here, but you can put your comments in the chat. Ask any question. It can be about life. It could be about sports. It could be about the Saints or any other team. And I welcome all the other teams. I know I've seen some Falcon fans in there. Shouts out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being here. We just have a difference of opinion when it comes to team, but I welcome every team as long as you come through respectful and not cursing nobody out. We good. Let's see. 80% Prime. Shouts out to Prime. Says, who that baby? I hope everybody is doing well. Shouts out to him, and I see that he's a part of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So shouts out to all the Sigmas out there. Got a lot of good friends that was a part of that fraternity. Says, I want to ask you a question, TJ, and people in comments during the 2017 draft. What was your reaction when Ryan got drafted by the Saints? My honest reaction was I didn't really know that much about Ryan Ramczyk. I really didn't. I didn't know that much about it. I mean, I knew him as far as like, playing at Wisconsin. And a part of me felt like it was a good pick because he went to Wisconsin. Like, offensive line in Wisconsin, defensive line in Wisconsin just seems like it's just a match made in heaven, right? Like, seriously, like when you think about your team, like you don't even have to know the guy. When you hear offensive lineman from Wisconsin, you're like, okay, man, we straight. Because I think about, okay, a couple of years ago, like before I moved out here, right? I don't know. Every time I make, come on. Okay, let me turn that off. All right, there we go. Anyway, I lived out in Dallas, Texas for like 2011 to about 2014, right? So I can remember like going to Buffalo Wild Wings. I promise you there's a reason I'm telling you this story. I can remember like a good friend of mine who was a Dallas Cowboy fan was anticipating the draft pick. And then all of a sudden, the Cowboys drafted a guy by the name of Travis Frederick. Some of y'all know who he is. If you've been rocking with football, you know who he is, right? And everybody started laughing, making fun of him, like, man, y'all boy Chris, such a Cowboy pick. But then Travis Frederick ended up being one of the best offensive linemen in football. He played center. He ended up retiring early, but he was one of the best offensive lines in football. He played center, one of the best. So sometimes, like, you may not know the person. And I know when teams pick offensive linemen, we like, oh, man. But at the end of the day, it's like when you hear offensive line from Wisconsin, you like, okay, man, we straight. I mean, I don't really hear about too many bad offensive linemen that come out of the University of Wisconsin. So I didn't know that much about Ram, but it didn't take me long to appreciate what he can bring to the table. I already mentioned, like, Ryan Ramczyk, he is one of my favorite Saints of all time. Like, he's in the top 5. As crazy as that sounds to some, like, man, I got Reggie Bush, Pierre Tom, I got Mark Ingram, I got Alvin Kamara. Like, he's in my top 5. Because I don't think people really appreciate the big men like they should. Like, we always talk about them when they do bad. We talked about Andrews Pete. We talked about Trevor Penning when he couldn't figure it out. Like, we talk about these guys when they make mistakes, but we don't appreciate them and be congratulatory towards them when they do great, right? We don't appreciate them enough. So, I appreciate the big men because I understand, like, the great play of the legendary Drew Brees. Like, you need somebody that's going to be able to protect you, and he did an outstanding job. So, I got a whole new, well, I don't say whole new, I got nothing but respect for the Ram. Let's see. Congrats on the retirement. Let's get ready for the draft. You heard me? Says 9. Yeah. Let's get ready for the draft. Y'all want to talk about the draft? I mean, we can do that. We can talk about the draft. Feel free, once again, put your comments about Ram. We're talking about them throughout the show. But yeah, man, I mean, the NFL draft is just around the corner, less than a week away. And, I still stand on my pick. I still feel like the Saints need to select Shadeur Sanders, contrary to some people's opinion. And, I'm learning this, and, I'm on this path right now to get better, I'm saying, trying to be, focused and working on mindfulness and stuff. And one of the things I've been trying to do is not really just going back and forth on social media, because here's the thing, man. I understand that we all have our opinions and views, and sometimes it's just kind of hard, like when somebody's just completely like way out left field about our interpretations on things, especially me, like somebody that uses social media a lot to be able to, promote the channel and talk about like certain things that we do, combine them in clips. Kind of hard sometimes when people just say things and insinuate things. I mean, and they don't even be remotely close to how you feel. But what I learned is you can't sit up here and just go back and forth with people, because in this world that we live in, when it comes to communication, people are just trying to win conversations. They're not trying to learn from conversations. They're trying to win. They're trying to get you to stop talking. And I just think that that's not what communication, that is not what conversations need to be about. Dialogue should be 2 individuals, 3 individuals, 4 individuals, etc., leaving a conversation better than they started the conversation. But we know how this goes. If you start talking about Shadeur Sanders, and, some people don't really care that much for him. Some people feel like, oh, he's not as good. He'll set a franchise back, this, that, and the third. And, and that's fine, if that's how you feel about it. But he is who I feel like the New Orleans Saints need at this point. I want to say Scott Shanley. I was cutting my yard on yesterday, and I was listening to my guy Matt Moscona, and he had Scott Shanley on the show, and Scott Shanley made a very interesting point when he was talking about one very polarizing player when he came to New Orleans back in 2006 named Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush, just like Shadeur Sanders is, Reggie Bush was one of the most exciting football players, if not the most exciting football player in college football, and as we look at it now, in history. But at the time, he was the most exciting, out there. And we knew what the New Orleans Saints were going through during the time Reggie Bush was supposed to be drafted. The Saints were still dealing with the effects of Hurricane Katrina. We as fans were displaced. Some of us were living in trailers. Some of us were trying to figure out, where we were going to lay our head on a permanent basis. And, the city needed a boost. They needed some energy to be injected inside of the city. And, when the Saints drafted Reggie Bush with the 2nd pick overall, it galvanized the fan base. It rejuvenized the fan base, and it rejuvenized the city. Now, we were all in different places. Some of us were still in the city. Some of us were away, but we still had the city in our hearts. But that draft pick brought us together, and it gave us something, right? It gave us a level of energy. And when you look at Reggie Bush, if you look at his rookie season, he didn't set the world on fire when you think about it. But every time he touched the football, it made you feel something. It made you feel like there was a chance where he can take it to the house or do something exciting. It wasn't until he returned a punt against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that he scored his first touchdown. But Reggie was able to excite the fan base. And I just think that is what is missing. The energy from this fan base. If you're a Saints fan at this point, you're just rooting for this team with a lot of optimism if you feel like they're going to be able to turn a corner. If you're looking at some of the things that have taken place over the last few years, some of the practices that have taken place from the front office position, there's not much that you can hang your hat on or be confident in. But if you bring in a guy like Shadeur Sanders that comes in with a lot of fanfare, and if you want to agree with it or not, he's a really damn good football player. I watch all 1,808 snaps that this guy's taken in college. And I know that because I watched every last one of them. I tell people all the time, he went to my alma mater for 2 seasons. Of course, I'm going to watch my alma mater. But I watched how his freshman year, how he struggled to hold on to the football. He used to fumble all over the place. I actually gave him the nickname T-Rex because I felt like he had baby hands, because every time they hit him, he'll ball or fumble out his hand, trip out his hand. I seen him go from that his freshman year to being able to protect the football, being able to move around in the pocket, even though he was limited when it came to the running outside of the pocket. I seen him being able to make plays on the fly. I seen him calling wide receivers back, telling them break off their routes. You see all these different traits that this dude actually has. And some people would say, oh man, look how many times he got sacked. He is what I like to call a football savant. If you're telling him something that is beneficial to him, he's going to do it. I think that when people are looking at Shadeur, they look at the things that he's doing at Colorado, but you have to look at what Colorado is lacking and why he's doing the things that he does. I feel that it would be a huge mistake if the New Orleans Saints don't draft him, because the Saints got the right coach to be able to get the best out of him in Kellen Moore. Now, there may be, if the Saints pass up on Shadeur Sanders and he goes to a team that historically is known for not being the best for a quarterback. Let's just say, for example, Cleveland gets their hands on Shadeur Sanders. You can't just sit up here and say, oh, man, he suck, he stink, because no matter the quarterback, when they play for the Cleveland Browns, they stink. Doesn't matter. I mean, we see Baker Mayfield. He was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and everybody just thought that he was just dead on arrival. A dead man quarterbacking, right? Let's send him to Carolina. Let's send him to Los Angeles. Now he with Tampa Bay, hasn't lost the division since he became the starting quarterback. Where you go matters. The elements matter. The situation matters. And I feel like this would be a right situation for him. And he, like I said, you have some really good qualities in him that can actually translate to the field. He's accurate and he's a smart football player. Some of the things that he does can be coachable. It's one thing if a guy turns the ball over in college consistently, I feel like that's something that you just can't shake. Well, you're accurate and you make smart decisions, and let's just say some of your limitations are just holding on to the football, or maybe, there's a little hitch in you, those are things and mechanics that you can actually fix. But I just think that he would just be a good fit. He would be a good fit for the Saints organization and what they need right now, because the Saints are at a point right now where they need something special. They need, rather it's a special season or somebody that can bring his fan base back to believing in his football team. Because the belief that most Saints fans have right now in this football team, it's just the simple fact that they just love this football team and want them to do well. And that's cool and all, but you want to feel like your team has a chance on Sunday. And it's been a minute since as I've been analyzing, looking at this team, cheering for this team, I felt like this team really truly had a chance against some stiff competition. So that's what they need, man. That's what they need. Strolling down a little bit. Want to hear what you all think about that. Says TJ, who would be a surprise number 9 dark horse pick in your opinion? Someone who'd still be an impact player outside of BPA. I would say Kelvin Banks out of Texas. Like that would actually be a surprise to me. He's an offensive lineman, but he is I feel like he's the second best offensive lineman in the draft. I think Will Campbell is the first. But yeah, that would be a shock to me. To draft Banks. Any other position outside of kicker or punter, I can understand. Tetairoa McMillan wouldn't be a surprise to me. Will Johnson, the cornerback, wouldn't be a surprise to me. Tyler Warren wouldn't be a surprise to me. Maybe somebody like Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart, being drafted with the 9th pick, that'll probably surprise me because I feel like the Saints can actually get, maybe Tyler Shuck in the 2nd round, or maybe even Jackson Dart, depends. Because looking at the 2nd round, there are a few teams I feel like they will need a quarterback, especially if Cleveland ends up drafting Travis Hunter. They'll probably want to maybe if Jackson Dart is available or Tyler Shuck, they'll probably want to snatch him up. But other than that, man, I mean, whatever the Saints do wouldn't surprise me at all. Right? Just don't draft a kicker or punter and we straight. Just don't draft a kicker or punter and we good. Congratulations on the retirement. I think I already read that. Let's see. The Undertaker is my favorite all-time wrestler. Yeah, man. Eddie Guerrero is my favorite all-time wrestler. Him and Kurt Angle. Those are 2 of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Let's see. TJ, how you feel if the Saints pass on Shadeur Sanders and sign Jalen Milroe as the Saints quarterback of the future? Wouldn't have no surprise. Wouldn't have no problem with that at all. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, I like Jalen Milroe. I mean, he's just kind of a work in progress. And it's one of those situations. Like, we have to understand, we look at these players, but we also have to look at their circumstance too. We look at organizations sometimes and we feel like if a player gets drafted, they should be able to rise above the organization. If that player don't end up panning out, we never seem to look at the organization and say that organization failed them. If you start a job, right? Let's just say you went to college, or you ain't even got to go to college, but you specialize in some level of engineering, right? And you get a job at engineering company, right? And you become the engineer and you still got to get trained, right? I mean, there are certain things that about being an engineer. It sets you up to be able to go into the work field and do your job effectively. But at the same time, all businesses are different. This business right here might have you doing certain type of things with your engineering degree. And over here might be another, right? But at the same time, you still have to have the right fit. Like, whatever you want to specialize in, you still have to be that in that environment. And, if you don't, you can find yourself maybe not doing your job effectively. It's the same thing with sports. It's the same thing with some of these teams. And, when these teams draft these quarterbacks, sometimes these organizations don't do good by these quarterbacks. They don't do well by these players. And it's so unfortunate because those players end up being the scapegoat. Like, when we look at the Jets, Jets have been an awful organization for I don't know how long. When the last time like the Jets actually had some solid quarterback play? Maybe what, Chad Pennington around this thing? Like, what are we talking about here? This is a bad organization. They have historically been bad when it comes to quarterback selections. You got to go back to maybe like what, Ken Anderson, Vinny Testaverde, probably the most recent one in the early 2000s, that they actually had some stability. But we never look at the Jets. Like, we just look at, Zach Wilson, terrible. Sam Darnold, terrible. Get them up out of here, right? Because they're playing for an organization that does not do right by their players, that do not put their players more cases than not in the right position to succeed. But we never have these conversations. But when we start analyzing these players, he never panned out. He wasn't good enough. It's because we have been systematically programmed. I don't know how we do this. Maybe it's because of Monday Morning Quarterback. Hell, it's probably because of shows like mine that we have a tendency of looking at the players and we don't take a look at the organizations. The Browns, Jets, Raiders, these organizations constantly picking the top 10. But when players don't pan out, we look at the players and say, oh man, he wasn't good enough. But we never have the conversation about, are these organizations failing these players? And it's unfortunate because if that player leaves that franchise and they sign with your team, oh man, look what he did with the Jets. Look what he did with the Raiders. Like, come on, man. Like, I just think that these organizations sometimes fail these guys. And the scrutiny that they come to other teams with, because the fans are so accustomed to watching that player suck on a bad football team that's a part of a bad franchise, they hear that. And it does mess with them psychologically. So I don't know, man. I just think that the circumstance, but I know that's a long drive to get around the corner, but Jalen Milroe going to the right situation, going to the right team will be great for him. Like, if he was to go to the Rams, that would be a good spot for him. Because I believe Sean McVay will come up with a plan. If he was to be, I don't think this is going to happen, but if he was to be drafted by like the Broncos or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that Sean would have a plan for him, right? It'd be like a Taysom Hill role or whatever, but he'll still be able to thrive in an environment. So it all depends. Like, do I think that if he was to come to the Saints, he'll be really good? I think that Kellen Moore have a plan for him. And I think that Kellen Moore will look at his tape, not when Kellen DuBois was the head coach of Alabama, but when Nick Saban was, when he was out there being really effective at the quarterback position. And that's what you're supposed to do. But I think the right situation. There's some guys in certain positions that, you know, they're going to be a difference maker, right? But I just think that when guys need some fine tuning, it does matter where you go. Because if you go to the wrong place, then yes, you're not going to look the part. Favorite all-time wrestler, John Cena, and female wrestler, AJ Lee. Okay. Yeah, okay, John Cena. Let's see, TJ, it's 1993. You have $3 to ball out with. Where you going? A candy lady, corner store, ice cream truck, True Wildly, hit the like button. Probably go to the candy lady, man. I mean, the candy lady is probably the quickest trip. Like the corner store, where I stayed at was, you know, it wasn't far. Shouts out to Greens out there on Russia Blade. But yeah, I'd probably go to candy lady, man. You know, always want that frozen cup, man. She usually has the frozen cups and ice cream. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Miss Jessie. But yeah, man, that's probably where I go. I'll probably go to candy. I mean, everybody, man. That was just everybody went to the candy lady when, you know, in the neighborhood. Because everybody knew it. And times were different. You know, like, no, man, you ain't about to eat out nobody's house. You ain't about to eat out nobody's house. Like, tell your kid, oh, Miss such and such down there, go to the house and get a frozen cup. Man, you ain't doing that now. Man, people, there's a lot of weird stuff going on around here, man. Like that was a different time, man. Yeah, used to be able to trust people during those times. Not so much now, man. Candy lady all day. Yeah, Slim. I mean, that's just what it was. Because you trust it. Everybody loved the candy lady. Rather the candy lady went to church with your grandparents, or everybody just kind of knew in the neighborhood and they trusted her, TJ, Will Johnson ran a 4.5 surprisingly after the injury. To be honest, Maxwell Harrison has what it takes to be a game changer. TJ, what are your thoughts on putting him on the other side of Kool-Aid? Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I like Harrison. I think that he's extremely talented. I think that he's quick, got a quick little twitch to him. I think that he is a first-day starter. I don't like him over Will Johnson, though. Will Johnson is just technically sound. I think that he's a guy that, you can match up with the best corner on the team. I don't think he possesses like those skills like you'll see some of these shutdown corners, but I think he'll win his matchups more so than not. He'll give you stability, and that's okay. Everybody's not going to be locked down, shut down, right? I just think that, we have been, another thing, we've become victims of great cornerback play, and we expect for the cornerbacks to be able to, shut down everybody. There's a reason why there's levels to elite cornerback play, but I think he'll give you stability. There'll probably be games in which you're wondering, like, what in the world happened with Will Johnson today? But for the most part, he'll probably, have more good games than he has bad, So I would pick him over Harrison. But if Harrison was there and the Saints select him, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Watching from work, so not talking as much. Oh, that's cool, Desi. We just appreciate it. We understand. And we understand that, and shouts out to everybody that's listening to this at work right now, listening to kill some time. Hopefully you don't have to work much longer. You'll be able to enjoy your weekend and time off, man. I mean, out here in Myrtle Beach, man, it's pretty nice weather out here, man. It ain't too hot, ain't too cold, like good spring weather. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. And hopefully you have some good weather where you are. I remember being at my auntie house and getting the ice cream cups with the wooden spoon out the deep freezer. Yeah, man, that was some good eating right there. Those little small Bluebell ice creams, and they used to give you that little stick on there. But it being a deep freezer, so you got to wait for it to kind of soften up a little bit. Used to have like maybe 10 of the pack, or they used to come in little stacks. Yeah, man. I think everybody had that Bluebell ice cream at one time or another. TJ, what are your thoughts? Bills bringing Tre White back. I think it feels right. Tre White definitely would have been one of the best corners in football if his health didn't fail him. It's just one of those stories, kind of like Ram and how they were just elite at their position, and then all of a sudden injury bug just kept plaguing them over and over again. And I just think that is what happened to Tre White. I mean, Tre White was all pro, like Pro Bowler. Like he was out there balling, like he was really good. And everybody knows about him. If you've been following LSU, you know how good he was for them, and he was good for the Bills. But like I said, the injury bug hit him, but it's only right that he goes to the team that drafted him. And they know him very well, and he can provide that leadership, on the defense, and be able to make some plays. So hopefully, being limited and not, being a full-time starter, he can make an impact in that capacity and be a leader in the locker room, which you can never have too many of. Ice cream truck is the bomb, though. Hear them bells and go running. The ice cream truck used to be outside my school when I was in elementary school. Like I used to walk home. My older brother, we always walk home, and ice cream truck used to be out there. Used to get the torpedo pops because at the time that's the only thing you can afford. It was 25 cents, and I could just remember always getting a torpedo pop. But yeah, man, those are good times right there. Delivering these packages, listening to the man. I appreciate that, Nathan. Thank you. Desi says she's still in New Orleans. Yeah, shouts out to you. Just talking to my brother who still live out there, just talking to him before we got on here. Said straight up, I can still hear the ice cream truck jingle in my head. One of my favorite wrestlers was JYD, Junkyard Dog. Yeah, man, Junkyard Dog, big time wrestler, especially like during the times where they used to have like what you call territories. In the New Orleans area, that's where he was like his most popular, like in Louisiana area. He was real popular in New Orleans, like the New Orleans area when they used to wrestle out there. I mean, I was young, but I'm kind of like a history buff when it comes to wrestling. I mean, I wasn't old enough to appreciate Junkyard Dog. I remember him like a little bit when he was in WWF, but he was at the tail end of his career. The heat of the truck hits you when you're standing in front of the ice cream truck. TJ, how you about tonight's Hall of Fame? I'm not real excited. I think just kind of a thrown together Hall of Fame. But, I mean, shouts out to Triple H, really good wrestler, a legend. Keen Arthur, thank you very much for $5. Said TJ, last I checked, Cam Newton had the same bravado as Sanders. Wasn't an issue then. People are annoying with that selective outrage. Yeah. I mean, I said this before and I'm going to say it again. People want to tell you how great you are. They don't want you to tell them how great you are. And I think that's the biggest issue with people. Like, he suffers from the Floyd Mayweather effect, right? Everybody like just wanted to see Floyd Mayweather lose. Like they didn't pay hundreds of dollars to say, oh man, I gotta watch my favorite boxer, Floyd Mayweather. No, they wanted to see him lose because he's flowing money in my face. He diamonded up, you know what I'm saying? He bezeled up, you know what I'm saying? He got his Rolex on, he getting off his private jet. I ain't got all that. People like have a tendency of, when people like flashy and saying, oh man, I'm about to knock this dude out in 5 rounds. I want to be, I'm gonna beat this dude to sleep. Shut up. That's just the way the world works. Like, I might get some backlash when I say this, but some people are just haters. They just are. Like, people have been programmed to be haters. Not everybody, like that's just the way that it is. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like if everybody is in agreement with something, right? Oh man, we like this. Yeah, great guy. Man, great woman. Oh, I heard she did this. Oh, I thought he did this. Man, he ain't all that. That was gonna be that one person. Like, what you heard? Probably ain't hear nothing, but it's just the fact that I just want to be that person that keep that person humble, I guess. I don't know, man. Don't you want your quarterback or any player of that manner to have a level of confidence in himself? Would you want the player that you selected in the draft? I guess I'm good. I guess I can be a Hall of Famer. I assume I can win my matchups week to week. No. If you are not confident in yourself, how you expect for anybody to have any type of confidence in you? I don't have a problem with that. You're not hearing, oh, the very super overly confident Shadeur Sanders was caught outside a nightclub with 3 women of the evening. You ain't hearing this kind of stuff. Like, okay, but what is this dude doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't hearing him getting in no trouble. You ain't hearing about none of the stuff that, you don't want to hear from a quarterback. Dude, just say that any team that drafts him, they're going to reap the benefits of his good quarterback play. He wants to change the game. Don't you want your quarterback? Don't you want your running back? Don't you want your offensive lineman? Don't you want your defensive lineman or your cornerback or your linebacker to change the game? Don't you? I would imagine so. So what's the difference between you believing that and feeling that way and him saying it out loud? Somebody explain that to me. And look, I don't care if, end up being drafted by the Saints. If the Saints end up like deciding that they want to go with somebody like Jalen Walker, great. They want to go with somebody like, I don't know, Jahad Campbell or something. Like, great. I don't have a problem with that. You shouldn't either. But at the same time, like, if the deciding factor is, oh, he has a false sense. Well, I don't say false sense, but he has too much confidence in himself. Like, you don't deserve that guy. And it's the reason why the Saints are in a position that they're in right now. Because if you want to be around here putting together the collection of Boy Scouts of America, it ain't working out for you. Like, you want some locker room guys and you want some good character guys. You know, it makes you feel good that 3-4 o'clock in the morning you can roll back over because you ain't about to get no crazy phone calls like somebody got arrested. More so than not. I mean, we know that happens still. But for the most part, it's not going to happen. It's least likely to happen. I get all that. But at the same time, you're not going to get that with him anyway, right? You know, what's the most that you're going to see? Oh, man, on Twitter, he said, oh, nobody can guard me. We once drafted a guy who had a Twitter handle, can't guard Mike, right? Mike basically telling ain't nobody can guard me. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I just think that if that's a deal breaker for you, like, oh man, he just too confident in himself. Like he just full of himself. Like, come on, man. And go for and sign that Boy Scout, the guy that, you know, that just say the right things, do the right things, and give him a 4-year contract over $150 million, $100 million guaranteed, and see how that works out for you. Now, the Saints wouldn't do that, would they? I digress. TJ, I heard a Colorado OC said Shadeur is Daniel Jones. That's interesting. I couldn't call him Daniel Jones. Why would they call him Daniel Jones? Like, no disrespect to Shadeur, but Daniel Jones, he can move, he can make he can make plays with his legs. He can move around the pocket. You know what I'm saying? We know he can run. So I don't know where that comparison come from, but I don't know, man. People gonna talk, we gonna run them out. People gonna always say things, man, you know, but I think Shadeur Sanders is a really good quarterback. And I think that he has qualities that can make him a really good game-changing quarterback. I've seen some clutch plays. Like, I've seen clutch moments from Shadeur Sanders. Like, I've seen him come through in a clutch when a team is down. I know that this guy rises to the occasion when his team is down. I've seen this on you know, several occasions. But when you sit up there and watch him play against Nebraska and hope he loses, and play against Oregon and hope that he loses, and you know, like, you know, I don't know, man. People just I never do that. I don't care what I'm watching. Some people watch the hate. I don't care if they seeing something great, right? Look what he doing. Look what he doing. He ain't even trying to hit nobody. Man, look at him, man. Oh, man, he hugging him right now. I'm just talking about in boxing. Man, come on, man. Hey, people watch that. Do y'all understand people watch the hate? People watch the hate. Like, people watch to hate. And I can't blame them, because I do that with the Cowboys every Sunday. I do it with the Cowboys. I mean, that's what people do, though, man. People like, but at the same time, I have an appreciation for when I watch. Like, when I see Dak, man, okay, man, that's a good play by Dak. All right. But it's mostly I watch it because I just like making fun of Cowboy fans and Falcon fans. You know, like, no, I just like to do that. All right. But I appreciate, like, let's just say for Bijan Robinson, right? Bijan Robinson is a special running back, like the Falcons or not. He's a special, like, when you see him play, it's like, man, this dude really out here balling. Julio was like that. Roddy was like that, right? I mean, I wanted to see them lose, but I have appreciation for what they are as players. I ain't just sitting up there just hoping, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, man, he just triple all over himself or something. Like, kind of make it feel good. You know what I'm saying? He go for 130, 140 yards and they lose by a field goal. You know what I'm saying? I'm still laughing. But yeah, man, you just can't always just watch. Like, just to hate on, like enjoy the experience, Like, don't have like your own like feelings and views. Don't let that like overshadow what you're actually watching. That game that the Falcons lost against the Commanders, that was an exciting game. That was actually one of the best games I've seen all season. It really was. Like, watching Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix go out there, going toe to toe, watching those two young brothers go out there and try to win one for their team, and it come down to the wire like that, it was a good football game. And I had appreciation for both sides watching them play. You know, I mean, some people just watch the hate. Tune in, sit in front of their TV, and look at all the worst qualities in a person. And don't let them lose. Oh, it's over, man. Yeah, it's over. Oh man, they lost. They lost. Shadeur compared to no one. That's why they just say anything. Well, you got people that never even really thought about scouting or analyzing any player, analyzing this guy. Oh man, you seen that, man? He was supposed to make this throw. I don't see this. Like, you don't know what a person is capable of, and sometimes, you know, they could be in an environment that ain't the best. Now, I get it. You know, when we're looking at quarterbacks these days, we want to see 60-yard bombs down the field. We want to see the flick of the wrist, throwing darts. You know, there are different ways you can play the quarterback position, you know, and just because you don't have an arm like Mahomes or, you know, be able to make all these throws with different angles like Matthew Stafford can, doesn't mean that there's not a place for you in the National Football League. Doesn't mean that. But, you know, I don't know. I just think it'll be a mistake if they don't draft Shadeur Sanders. And, of course, if Shadeur goes to a bad team that historically has never really had a good quarterback, there's always going to be those Tom, Dick, and Harrys that come through. Man, I told you, man. I told you, man. He ain't it, bro. When was the last time the Cleveland Browns actually had some respectable quarterback play? Somebody please tell me on a consistent basis when the last time the Cleveland Browns, the New York Jets, Raiders had some consistent football play. I guess they can throw Derek Carr in there or something, but what kind of consistency are we talking about? Are we just talking about, oh, he top 10 when it comes to quarterback rating and efficiency and throwing the ball on time, and it was late with this quarterback? No, we ain't talking about that, all right? We talking about some play where you knew for a fact you had that dude that was going to get you to the playoffs. What are we talking about? Bernie Kosar around this thing? Well, what are we talking about, right? We talking about Bernie Kosar. Consistently, we talking about the Jets. What are we talking about? Vinny Testaverde, Vinny and the Jets. I mean, go back a little bit further. We got to go Ken O'Brien up in this thing. You know, like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? I told you, bro. I told you, dog. He can't do this, bro. He ain't it, dog. I told you, man. According to Pro Football Focus, dog. Man, miss me with that, man. It's coming. It's coming, dog. It's coming. Ain't got nothing around him. Ain't made a quarterback in I don't know how long. But we going to take it any way we can. I told you, dog. I told you, man. And I'm tweeting TJ, right? What happening now, bro? What happening now, my dude? Man, you supposed to be a podcast. You supposed to be a reporter. You supposed to do... shut up. I told you, man. Culpepper, not bad. Just that you're comparing old generational talent to something new. We never seen what Shadeur is. How could we compare now? I don't know, man. I'll just say adjust accordingly, man. You don't know what none of these players going to be. There's going to be a player that get picked in the fourth round, might end up being one of the greatest greatest players. I don't want to say quarterback, greatest players of all time. We don't know, man. We got to start watching highlights and thinking we know something. If you're not watching all 22, just ignore my comments because I definitely watch every play. You heard me? Look, You ain't got to, Cartel. Some of us knee deep in a game. All right. Some of us knee deep in a game. Some of us, our football knowledge, X's and O's, Willies and Joes are better than others. But I can always say, don't matter if you are the most knowledgeable football player or somebody that just kind of watches and goes by what they actually see. Everybody has an appreciation and understands and knows a little bit about the game. So I'm not going to like Cartel, that's cool. And I get what you're saying. But at the same time, you don't have to watch all 22. But I just encourage you, the first part of your statement and what you made, and I'm going to put it back up on the screen. We can't just watch the highlights, right? Like the key word is highlights. Like it's supposed to be good. They're supposed to be making incredible catches and yards after the catch. And like, but those highlights was the first one week 1, and the next one week 7, and then the next one week 11, and then the next one just so happened to be, in a championship. Like, what are we doing? Right? It's called highlights. You got to be able to understand the good and the bad. That is why, and even in some cases, if you look at Pro Football Focus, they do these numbers on these players, and if you look at the right side of the screen, they'll have like each game and how they fare, right? If you go back to some of those games, those numbers may not indicate how effective that player was. Hell, he probably was sacrificing it in order for his other player to eat, or he probably was getting close to home but didn't necessarily make it, right? There's always different stories, but of course, if we like, man, in week 4, he had a 67 PFF grade. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we just looking at that and trying to sound like the smartest person in the room? Did you go back to that game and see exactly what he did or what he didn't do? Did PFF actually justify this? Did the low score justify this? Did you see some good? Did you see some bad? Oh, I always tell people before you watch the wins, right? Because what we do sometimes, we want to believe in this player, so we start watching their key games, their highlights, etc. And that's cool. You can have a belief in a player, but also check out those losses. I always tell people, like, you find out a lot about a player in a loss. Like, I found out a lot about Mason Graham more so in losses than wins. I seen a guy on the interior battling constantly. When they played against Texas, and I watched them get slapped around, work, this dude was still out there putting in work like, man, we still about to win this. Knowing they was getting beat to sleep. That is what you actually need in a player, because it doesn't matter if the score is 36-0 or 7-6 or 13-4. Like, you're going to get a guy that motor is constantly running high. Those games prove to me more about a player's character, especially in modern day college football, modern day football, where you got a lot of people that like two people, I and me, and team somewhere in the background. Like, when you see these players out here battling and still out here putting in that work, to me, I think that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, man. So I agree with you, Cartel. It's not just about watching the highlights. It's not just about that. It's about watching those games that could be considered lowlights as well. All 22, definitely. Cartel, I definitely like all 22. Shouts out to Deuce Winham. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to the Boot Tragedies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to James Scametta. Like, man, these are some cats, you know what I'm saying, that gonna break down some tape. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna break it down, they're gonna analyze it, they're gonna help you out with that. You know what I'm saying? Those brothers are knowledgeable. They take that time with the all 22 and they tell you, okay, man, this play was, not as bad. I can understand why he made this decision, yada, 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 right? And there's a lane for that. But there's also individuals that, they ain't about to just sit up there and watch all 22. They just not. But that don't mean they don't know anything about the game or football. Like, you understand, like, try to maximize your capacity. There's always room for that, right? And I have an appreciation for that, but you also have to understand, like, sometimes, like, you're not going to meet people that always understand the game like you, that won't see the game like you. But like, well, when it comes down to evaluating talent, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, don't just take individuals' word for it. Don't, like, I tell people this on this show. Don't just take my word for it. I'm not saying my word is gospel. I just have a microphone, and I don't have a co-host or anybody else. Like, y'all my co-hosts, right? So of course I'm the only one talking audibly. You know what I'm saying? Like audible. You know what I'm saying? With audio, I'm the only one talking. Only one talking. So you can be sitting there like, man, he think. No, I don't think anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I think, giving my opinion, but that don't mean my opinion is greater than yours. I might say something about a player, and you might go back and say, I don't know if I agree with TJ on that. And that's cool. That's the reason why you have to do your own research. And that's the reason why we can't just sit up here and fall in love with the split screen on these major sports shows. They're trying to entertain you. They're trying to bring you in. But walk away from that with their knowledge and their understanding about the situation, but don't just leave it there and go and take their knowledge and go give it to somebody else, because you're doing yourself a disservice. Have your own appreciation for the situation. And if you just so happen to agree with that person on a particular topic, cool. But always investigate yourself, folks. I respect your info. This is why I keep watching your shows. Stu, I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. And like I said, there are certain things that I don't cover. Like, I don't sit up and do like all 22. I don't. Can I do all 22? Yes, I can. Can I break down plays? Yeah, I can. I really could. I really could, but it's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. I grew up a Saints fan. Even though I am a reporter, I am a writer, I do things like that. I that's what I am. But I'm a Saints fan at the end of the day. And I grew up watching this team, and I know that most of us, especially from my city, we sit at the barbershops, the bus stops, school, work, talking about the Saints, and we talk about it like how we're doing it right now. So, that's the type of platform that I want to do. But, if anybody don't know anything about all 22, I'm not sitting up here, you don't know anything. No, man, everybody got their perspectives. Everybody approaches things differently. I talk to my grandmother all the time. Like, my grandmother knows football. My grandmother don't sit up and watch all 22. But, she could tell you what's going on. She could tell you what's right and what's wrong with the team. And a lot of the things that she say, like, you'll hear from most people. So, like I said, people know what they're talking about. I think the Saints going to go BPA, let's say at 9, and then try to trade back into the first round to get a quarterback. Yeah, I think they will probably go with best player available. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that. I want people, look, I want people to not do this to themselves. We did it a couple of years ago with Jordan Love. I did it, which created one of the most epic rants I think I ever did on this show. But I did it. And I'm telling people this because I'm telling you this from experience. And listen to me when I say this. I'm going to look dead in the camera when I say this. Do not set yourself up to be disappointed. I see a lot of people talking about Shadeur Sanders, tweeting about Shadeur Sanders, around the street, talking about Shadeur Sanders. I see this stuff. And I don't want people to get upset when they hear some other name called, when you got yourself all excited and bucked up, as we used to say, about Shadeur Sanders, and you get yourself disappointed. That is why you should have some confidence. Like, okay, man, I hope that they draft Shadeur Sanders. If they draft Shadeur Sanders, that would be great. But don't do it to a point where it's just like they better. Because if they don't, then you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. Don't do that to yourself. Because we all know. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when everybody thought that the New Orleans Saints should go after a cornerback, right? Everybody was looking at all the cornerbacks. Like, man, Saints, all they need is a cornerback. Man, we know they need to go ahead and get a cornerback. Cornerback, yeah, I think we all agree. Everybody thought that the Saints were more than likely going to get Greg Newsome, right? Greg Newsome, I believe, came out of Northwestern. They thought that they were going to draft him. Instead, I think the Saints ended up drafting. Who did they end up drafting that year? I don't know if it was Peyton Turner or Davenport. No, it wasn't no Davenport. I know it wasn't no Davenport. He wanted Lamar Jackson. But it was I want to say it was Peyton Turner. I want to say, it was Peyton Turner because it was 2021. Yeah, 2021. They drafted Peyton Turner instead. And people are like, man, what? Who? What happened? And everybody was just so disappointed, nodding their head like, who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? Now, Peyton Turner is no longer with the team. He plays for the Dallas Cowboys now. But all I'm saying is don't get yourself all wound up. Y'all remember on Harlem Nights when Della Reese goes into the kitchen and she's like, she wanted some orange juice, and they only had a little swallow of orange juice up in there. I got my mouth all set for some orange juice. Don't have your mouth all set for some orange juice, and they ain't got nothing in there, right? Maybe Red Fox didn't drunk it all. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that to yourself. Be excited about the possibilities of being able to pick, being able to select him. But if they don't, you know what I mean? All right, take a few more, then we're gonna get up out of here. Says go into the draft with no expectations, just enjoy the ride. Yeah, that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on, man. I'm like 4 flats on a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling right now. I ain't going. All right, I can't be wavered. I can't be moved. I have my preference, as well as I'm pretty sure a lot of people. But if they don't end up selecting Shadeur Sanders, I'm okay with that. Just don't, please. Just don't draft nobody out of ITT College, or University of Phoenix, or, ICDC College, or, New Mexico Central. I mean, come on, man. You got the 9th pick in the draft. Let's get a game change. Let's get somebody that has been in some wars, some real true wars, some SEC wars, some ACC wars, some Big Ten wars, or somebody that's a bona fide certified dog. For a fact, number 9 is going to hit the field and he's going to make an immediate impact. Jersey's going to be flying off the shelf, going to have people getting up out their seats. Gonna have people, when he come through the smoke, when player introductions, have people going crazy like Alvin Kamara does. Do something like that. Don't try to be the smartest person in the room. I know everybody want us to get Shadeur. I know we should get Shadeur. But I tell you what, I was looking at this dude from Eastern Kentucky that you can probably get in the 5th round. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let come on, please, pretty please. I say ICDC College. Now, TJ, they don't even have no football. Exactly, Desi. Exactly. Them boys drafting Job Corps players. Hope not. Let the college ranks do the work for you when drafting. The big programs get the top recruits. Look, you ain't got to be a big-time school recruit. I would prefer that. If they was to get Mike Green, right? Mike Green out of Marshall. I mean, I'm a little biased because I didn't watch this dude play quite a bit, covering Coastal, but I'm not mad at that. You have 17 sacks. Dude is a beast. And basically, ragdolling 1st-round offensive linemen all senior bowl long. I think you basically validate the 17 sacks by going up against stiffer competition. So I wouldn't be mad at that because he's ranked one of the top guys. But let's just say, and he's a good player, but not first round good player. If they were to draft CJ West out of Indiana in the first round, reach, Stretch Armstrong type reach, right? Like he'll more than likely be there when you pick it in the third round. You know, like he'll probably be there. Probably if he does get drafted, probably gonna be late second round. Talented guy. But you don't need him right now. You know what I'm saying? There are several other defensive players that are better than what CJ West is as of right now. He's still a work in progress. If the Saints were to draft him third round, I think you can have yourself like a Malcolm Roach type guy who develops to be something pretty doggone good. But when you got Jalen Walker, when you got Mykel Williams, when you got Malachi Starks coming out of Georgia, when you got even James Pierce, I know he has some character issues, but he a beast coming out of Tennessee. Mason Graham, pretty sure Jacksonville going to end up snatching him up, but like, top guys. Dalton, Judkins, and Scatterboot. Yeah, I like Quinshon Judkins, man. Probably going to be a second round pick for a team. I think based on the Saints' needs and probably the direction they go in, he probably won't be there. So, I mean, Cam Scatterboot could possibly be there for you. Ollie Gordon could possibly be there for you. Harvey out of Central Florida, I want to say CJ Harvey or DJ Harvey. DJ Harvey should be there for you. You know, you got some guys that going to end up being there. You know, you got some guys that going to end up being there. But I like Ollie Gordon, man. I like Ollie Gordon. And Jack will end it with you. It says Saints just need to not think they are the smarter than all the college recruiters and NFL scouts and take small school players way too high. I agree. I think sometimes RJ. Thank you, Mad Drone. RJ Harvey. It's just so like somebody named RJ, DJ, CJ, RJ Harvey. I should know his name because I was talking about him maybe like a few episodes ago, and I was saying like it kind of reminds me of like Mark Ingram a little bit, the way that he runs. It's like one of those small bowling ball type running backs, but runs with really good pad level. RJ Harvey. Thank you, Mad Drum. Let's see, CJ Harvey. Seems like that should be his name. But yeah, man, as long as they don't draft anybody, they're just a little bit of a reach. I'm good with it. I'm good with it, man. But I do think they need to address the quarterback position. They shouldn't just go into the season with Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler trying to battle it out for first rep supremacy. I just think that, you need to bring somebody else in. I also feel like you need a veteran. And I ain't talking Ben DiNucci around this thing. I think they need to bring somebody else in. I understand there's only a handful of guys on the street that you feel like you can trust. Hex nod to the Aaron Rodgers, like leave him where he at. It's time just to hit the reset button. Just start with something young and fresh and try to see what you can actually do. Get somebody that's going to be a veteran that can be able to help some of these young guys be able to navigate and go from there. But thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. Much love to each and every one of you. I hope that you all enjoyed this show. I hope you enjoy your Easter weekend. Hope you be safe out there. Make sure you're being careful, especially if you're traveling out of town. A lot of people be traveling during this weekend because it's pretty long. But make sure that you subscribe to the State of the Saints podcast channel. Also, check out NFC South Roundtable. That is available. NFC South Roundtable available on YouTube. We did a mock draft over there. And make sure that you check that out. We did the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft on the NFC South Roundtable. Also, check out the mock draft special on Bleacher Report. I was a representative of the New Orleans Saints playing GM on that special that took place on Thursday. So if you didn't check it out, make sure you check it out there's a clip of the first round pick that I selected. I'll let you all see that. Go on Bleacher Report, download the app. You'll be able to check out that episode. Also, check out previous episodes here of the State of the Saints podcast right here on YouTube. Check out the most recent song that we created about Derek Carr. Derek Carr Ain't It is out right now. Look, man, nothing I just say out here, man. I don't want anybody just to take it personal. You know, every song that I make is just based on the pulse and the feelings. And sometimes it could be my own of how people feel, you know, but I would never just, you know, want to take personal shots at anybody. It's just to make people laugh through some of these very, very frustrating times. So if you ain't check it out, we'll actually end the show. We'll play it one more time for those that may have not checked it out. I really do appreciate this. Much love to everybody. Follow me on X at TJAYJones8. And till next time, all I got to say is who that, and we'll leave with, once again, Derek Carr Ain't It. Enjoy. Oh, yeah. Look, man, we about to make an anthem out of this. I need y'all to follow me on social media on X, www.x.com at TJAYJones8. Now, if you had enough, this is what I need you to do. I need you to put your hands in the air and sing this with me. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? For the last 2 seasons we done paid the price. Make it while you put Derek Carr in our lives. Everybody know he ain't winning jack. And read the fans if you love him, you can have him back. Cause I don't understand why the Saints spinning over for this man, acting like he ain't high man. And I done seen enough, I swear I'm over this guy. Instead of training with his team, he out of pimp and ride. Yeah, it took me a little while, but I'm starting to see that number 4 for the Saints is mentally weak. Yeah, I think that it's time that they send that boy home, so once again we can rock in a Superdome. Yeah, rock in a Superdome. Cause we know Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing? Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. Who that nation sing?